This is Arts and Crafts with Luba Carlson, and we continue working on our art journal. And today I want to introduce you to a concept of fodder. So fodder is spelled F-O-D-D-E-R, and it is it's the little elements that we create by ourselves to later use in our collages, or maybe just an art journal as itself, whatever we decide to do with it, we can. And creating our own fodder helps us, one, have control over the colors. Two, you can make it the way you like it, so you don't really have to go to the store and buy, I don't know, like 300 cutout flowers to just find that one that you would like to use. And it's just really so satisfying to create something like that. So I have a page here open for you. There's a lot of elements, and we'll get to something like this in the future, I promise. There's a lot of things to learn, but I wanted to bring your attention to the little hearts. These little hearts are actually the elements of fodder. So I created a whole lot of hearts, and then I used some of them here. And then we can also look, would be helpful if it doesn't stick. Here, we can look, not this page, but this page over here. These flowers and leaves, they are also an example of fodder, something that I created ahead of time, and then they just went into a folder or an envelope, wherever I keep them, and I could use them for my page. Let's drop this here. And so this is really an example, or the example of what we're going to be doing today, and maybe even why. And this is how I'm going to arrange it in my journal, maybe, or maybe not. We'll see. Anyway, here's what we are creating. We will be using watercolors, heavy paper, at least 80-pound paper. I would not go any heavier, because then you will need to cut them out. And if we use super heavy watercolor paper, it will be very hard to adhere them, to stick them to the paper, to the collage. But it's not doable. It's doable, but something like that. So we'll create hearts, some flowers, and some greenery to go with that. And then we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, so here are my supplies that I'm using for this. I usually do not use a pencil, but if you feel like it'll help you to have a pencil to maybe just outline your shapes so that you know what you're painting in, that would be helpful to have. What I want to tell you, though, is that I want you to use very, very light pencil. Do not push hard on it. And also, when you start painting, I want you to try and paint on the inside so that the paint doesn't touch your pencil line, so that you can just cut right on the inside of the pencil line, and then it doesn't really show on your design. I will show how to do this, but it just helps. Eraser, the regular eraser, I would like to introduce you to the magical kneaded eraser. They are super soft, and when you have a line on your paper, you just kind of rub it on there very gently, and it just picks up most of your graphite from your paper. And sometimes you can even rub if you really need to take that graphite off. This is a better eraser when you want to make sure that your paper fibers don't get broken, because then it'll show in your watercolor. But it's kind of one of those things. If you don't want to deal with that, then don't. It's fine. Some kind of watercolors are always great to have. I don't know why I have this body here. I don't need it today. And I have a water brush. This is my favorite thing to have when I create on the go. This way I do not need to have an extra brush, a jar with the water and like all of that. I have a water brush, and I have an old washcloth that I just use to clean up my brush on, okay? So for the first step, all we need is paper, watercolor, and maybe a pencil if you need it. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with hearts. We are just going to, I'm just going to do a couple with a pencil and then a couple without, okay? So just create a random form, whatever you like. Let's maybe stick with that. And then we'll do flowers. And here I have 4-petal flowers and 5-petal flowers. So for 4-petal flowers, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not comfortable with that just yet, you'll be fine. For 4 petals, what I like to do is I like to put a mark on the top and then on the bottom, you know, like this, and then create like a plus sign and kind of give myself the same distance. And then these become the tops of my petals, just like that. And then I just keep bringing them down until they form a flower that I like. And with flowers, we really do not want them to be geometrically correct and completely symmetrical and all of that. Flowers are amazing because they are not like that. Not every, like there's not every flower, I mean, not a flower that looks the same as the other one, right? They're all a little bit different. Okay, then for the 5-petal flower, here's what I like to do. We kind of all know how to draw a star, and everybody has their own way, but this is how I do it. I start on the bottom, so I put the mark, and then I pretend, so I don't actually draw the line, I just drag my pencil over, but I go up, and this is my top part, and then I go down, here's another, off the side, and back. So this way, I have my 5 marks, and I'm doing the same thing. Absolutely the same thing. Round, round, round up, round up. If you would like to create a center and you have marks in the center over here, get rid of these lines for sure, because once you put watercolor on them, there's no way of erasing them and they will show. We really do not want that. And use very light pencil and like create your little circle like that, okay? And then for greenery, the greenery I'm gonna show you separate because pencil doesn't go there at all. All right, so let's pull out the watercolors and the brush. I really like my bright colors, but what I also like to do sometimes, I would go like through the whole rainbow and make a lot and a lot and a lot of these so that I have choices, right? So let's just do that. Let's play with that. Let's start with the hearts. Get rid of all the dust that you might have on your paper. If you're using a regular brush, just put it in the water and use the wet brush. This will work. It's already wet. It has water in this part. They're called water brushes and they're fantastic. Okay, so let's start with yellow. I'm just gonna start with this yellow. You can choose whatever colors you like from your watercolor set. I'm picking up some color and I'm going on the inside and I'm just starting to kind of mimic the shape, but I do not really want my heart to go on the pencil lines because I do not want that to show, okay? This can be a little bit wonky, those shapes, the fodder that we're creating, if it's wonky, it really makes it look even better. Now, as I did this, please note how I left some white spaces. Those are your highlights, and you always want to leave some white spaces. It's really like you cannot add white space on top of watercolor, unlike acrylics where you can just paint over. Now, if you want to make one side or maybe a little bit the other side or something, you want to add a little bit of color. Clean your brush, and this is why I love my water brushes. That's as easy as it gets. Take your next color and then go back and maybe add just a little bit more. Don't cover the whole thing. Be very sporadic in how you move your brush and just do that, okay? Clean your brush if you're changing the color. Let's create something bright, bright, bright. So here is my heart. And I am just following, and I'm being mindful and trying to remember to leave out some highlights first. Yes, we need highlights. So here, this is good. This is all I'm gonna do. Then I'm gonna go over here, connect my heart. This is great. I love this heart. It looks wonderful. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, clean, clean. You know what? Let's push this up higher so you guys can see what I'm doing here on my... So I just squeeze the brush a little bit and I work it in and all the color comes off. What should we do? Let's add this red right on top, maybe here. And because your heart is wet, if you're doing it while it's wet, your paint will spread a little bit and will create super interesting designs. Okay, clean. So we have kind of yellow, red. Let's see if we can find red, orange, yellow, green. Let's do green. Okay, I have some super bright greens in neons, and then I have like more muted tones. Let's do a super, super, super neon green heart. Why not? Right, so I'm just picking that up, and now I'm doing this freehand, okay? This is how I do it. Maybe you will find a better way that works for you, but I just shape it, fill it in, and then I go back, and these hearts are quite big because it's the demonstration, right? Maybe we don't need hearts that are this big. And then go back. And all I'm doing here really is I'm just squeezing my paintbrush a little bit, and it allows a little bit more water into the bristles, and the paint keeps coming. There's a lot of paint on this brush. You don't need to keep reloading your brush all the time. Let's clean that. Let's grab a little bit, maybe darker tone. Let's do something dramatic, because we can, right? Ooh, wow, that is dramatic. Okay, maybe here, maybe there. Okay, let this dry, clean. Let's maybe make something blue. And now this one, I'm gonna try and make smaller. So let me try. So let's do a small one right here. Again, shape, finish the shape, color it in, leave some highlights. Wonderful, love it, clean. Grab a different, I don't even remember what this is. Oh, I think this is like a dark, this looks like phthalo green to me. Let me see. Yep, phthalo green. Right, can add right here somewhere. Yeah, doesn't need to be anything perfect. Okay, now phthalo green is very strong, so it's going to take a little bit to take it off the brush, but it's off. And maybe I'm thinking, let's make, what do I have? Yellow, so I have my primary colors. I have my green. Let's do one purple. Let's do purple, and then let's do orange for the hearts, and then we'll move on. So I just want to do a different shape of a heart. So you can do, they don't have to be super symmetrical, right? You can do like longer bunny ears like this one. Just make it long and kind of wonky. You can absolutely do that. Just paint it in. There we go. And I think for this one, I'm not even going to add any highlights. I'll just leave it like that. I like that. So we have purple. Let's make, well, this is kind of orange, isn't it? Let's do pink instead. Pink, pink, pink. Nope, not that one. That's purple. Hold on, let me find that. I think it's this one that I want. I think I want this one. Let's see. Maybe a little bit more water on the brush. There, now we're talking. Okay, and now let's do one that's opposite maybe to this. I don't know, maybe super long one. How about that? Super, whoops, on a band, and come, and then again, and so that they don't meet. And that's also a heart. Why not? Why not? Okay. Now, you know what? Let's color this in completely so you can see the difference. Yeah. It will still dry and will show different tones of color because it's still watercolor. All right. What should we do for flowers? Flowers, we can probably just stick to one flat of color. Ooh, let's do this one. I don't use it very often. This will be fun. This is different shades of blue. So let's start with that. Lots of color. Okay, going into the flower. Just go around. And if your brush is doing that, it means that you don't have enough water on the brush. So you kind of need to squeeze it a little bit and get some water in it. There we go. And then here. And see how I keep going around? Yeah, and my paint is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring it in from the outside of the petal to the center. And I can leave the center, or I can just bring them closer to the center, whatever works. Also, since I'm on camera, so I am really not moving my paper around a lot. But when I work at my studio, watercolor, you can always rotate your paper to make it comfortable for your hand. All right, let's do this next one. I'm just going down the palette and picking up whatever I have. This is not much different, is it? It's also very intense and nice blue. Just make sure you have enough water on your brush. And if you're using the regular brush, also just make sure you have enough water, but not too much, so you don't want it dripping. And back in. Yeah, I absolutely love how it makes like darker petals, lighter petals on the same, using the same color pretty much. I love it. Okay, let's guess what's this one. Come on, let's put some water in it. Thank you. Okay, and so now freehanding, right? So you're just gonna do 1 petal, 2 petal, 3, and 4. Don't worry that they're not completely symmetrical and all of that. This is all good. This is all good. Just bring those petals in, maybe leave some highlights if you like. This works. Okay, clean the brush. The best thing about using a washcloth for cleaning your brush instead of your paper towels is because this is infinite. You can just wash it in the sink. Don't put it with your clothes. Please do not put it with your clothes. Wash it in the sink with some dish soap, let it dry, and you are good to go and use it again. All right, so let's do one more flower so that we have enough flowers to work with. Let's see what I picked, maybe from here. Oh, love that. This is gonna be a 5. 1, 2, 3. So I just kind of keep an image of a flower in my head. I put it too close. I'm gonna go over the heart. I do not want to do this, so I'm gonna just cheat a little bit, and that's okay. This is gonna be a very interesting looking flower, but why not, right? It's our flower. We can do whatever we want. Actually, I kind of like it. It looks like it's on the side a little bit. Like if you look at it from here and the stem is coming from here. Yeah, I really like that. This is good. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this color to the outside just to make this a little bit darker. Okay, clean this up again. And now I'm gonna show you how to create those little florals. Florals are not necessarily hard, but if you get the hang of it, you will be able to make whatever florals you like. Leaves, in this case, the greenery leaves. Okay, so here's what we're doing. I'm gonna grab whatever color and I'm gonna show you the technique, what goes with that first. And I'm gonna just do it with some brown so that we know that this is just a technique and it doesn't really matter. So you need to make sure you have a lot of wet paint on your brush. Okay, so your brush is full of paint, and first you're gonna draw a line on your paper and you're gonna go very, very lightly, very light hand, thin line. Just keep going. Just make a one long line so you can feel the pressure, so you know where you're going. Okay, next I'm gonna have you push hard and make a thick line. So I'm pushing on the brush and I'm going as far as it will get you. This color lasts a while long, yeah? Now, third step, we're gonna alternate. We're gonna do low pressure, high pressure, low pressure, high pressure, okay? Low pressure, high pressure, up, low, high, low, and high, and low again, and high pressure. Now we're gonna do the low pressure not as long, okay? So just a little bit of low and then drag high, whoop, and high, whoop, and press up, and press up, and again, up, and again, all right? This is pretty much everything you need to know to make those greenery, okay? So now I'm grabbing a little bit more color from here, okay? We're gonna create the first leaf and you're gonna start from the bottom and you're gonna go up and we're gonna do low pressure, high pressure, low pressure, okay? So here we go. Low pressure, high pressure, low pressure. It's a leaf. Look at that. Try again. Low, high, low. And you can change this like with the size of your brush. If you can use a huge brush, you can make a very big leaf, or tiny brush, but you can also play with this a little bit and maybe make not such a deep pressure as you go in. So if you start low and then you just go a little bit and high, and so you can just make little tiny leaves, okay? Now I want you to turn your paper just to make your hand comfortable, and now we're gonna go different directions so that we can do that. See, my bristles are separating a little bit, so I'm gonna try to do this again. Here we go. And give it maybe a turn a little bit as you're putting those leaves in. There you go, okay? Now for the greenery that we're using here, we're gonna be using the motion from the top of the leaf going down. From here, down, from the top, bring it down. Again, from the top, bring it down. They don't need to be perfect, they just need to resemble a leaf. And then at some point, we're gonna decide, oh, I'm really good with that. This is all I wanted. And then we're gonna use low, low pressure and connect all of those leaves, just bring them in. And you have your first greenery vine, just like that, okay? So let's go back into here, clean the brush, find the colors that you want to use on your leaves, because really I find that it's fun to just use green, but sometimes having blue leaves or red leaves is a lot of fun too. So let's grab some of this. Okay. And so as I usually do it, this is the part one. So what I want you to do is to keep practicing and create as many leaves, as many flowers, as many hearts, as your heart desires. Okay, just make them like this on your paper and make sure that they are dry for just in time for the next episode, and then I'll show you what to do with them next. What are the interesting things? There's lots of interesting things we can do with them. Okay, and sometimes you don't even want to, I'm talking about pressure now, you don't even want to do the low-high. You might even just go into the high pressure right away. Maybe pick some color from here and then bring it. I absolutely love this golden green. I think it's one of my favorite in watercolors. And connect. And let me see, I think I want to make some kind of maybe a pink or something like that. Oh, wow, that's deep. That works. Just going the same way, and I think that's good for me. And now I'm going to use the same color, and now I'm just going to make nice big leaf using the same motions, okay? So I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to make one side of the leaf and then the other. So we're going down and press, and then from the other side, down and press. And if you want to connect that, you can. And we have a very nice leaf. I'm putting a little bit more water in my brush. Here we go. So that maybe I can make one more. I'm just looking for empty spots. This is how I do my fodder. I just look for lots of empty spots. There's one. There goes another. Oh, there's a lot of water. That's gonna look pretty. And maybe if I need like a little stem, I will make a little stem. And maybe over here, I'll make just a smaller one, okay? A very light one. So again, as I said, practice and make a whole lot, all right? A whole lot. And I will see you in the next one. Woo!